if I'll stay. My home, my people beside me, and when I think of tomorrow, there we are.
You just stepped out of the theater after watching the new live-action Moana, or if you're trying to decide whether to drop your hard-earned money on a ticket this weekend, we need to have a serious, unfiltered chat. Quick refresher, the original animated Moana dropped in 2016, became a massive hit, spun off a sequel in 2024 that made over $1 billion worldwide. So Disney's basically saying, hey, people love this story, let's do it again, but with real actors. Catherine Laga'aia takes over as Moana. She's a total newcomer, first big role ever. Dwayne Johnson's back as Maui, directed by Thomas Kail, who did the filmed version of Hamilton for Disney. Budget on this thing? $250 million. That's a huge number, and it matters a lot for what we're about to talk about. Let's start with the positives, because I don't want to be a total hater right out of the gate. If you were just looking for pure, vibrant family entertainment to escape reality for 2 hours, this movie is honestly gorgeous to look at. They did the principal shooting on location in Oahu, Hawaii, and you can absolutely tell. The tropical backdrops are stunning, the colors are incredibly rich, and the costume design by Liz McGregor has some insane, beautiful detailing. By the time the final act hits, the movie practically feels like a tropical vacation. And the ocean, neat. In the animated version, the living water was a masterpiece. Bringing that to life in photorealistic CGI actually works really well. The massive ocean sequences feel incredibly epic and huge, but they still manage to keep the emotional, intimate connection with Moana herself. On top of that, the songs are still absolute certified bangers. How Far I'll Go and You're Welcome will completely get stuck in your head all over again. Plus, unlike last year's Snow White remake, you don't have to worry about any creepy, weird CGI nightmare fuel here. It's clean, it's sincere, and it's very safe. Now the people on screen. The absolute best part of this entire movie is the main lead, Catherine Laga'aia, making her big screen debut. She is fantastic. She perfectly captures that mix of a young girl trying to be a bold tribal leader while still having that stubborn, impulsive teenager attitude. She's bright-eyed, she works incredibly hard, and her humanity is the most real thing in the entire film. John Toohey and Rena Owens also show up and give some really spirited support as her parents and grandmother. But then there's The Rock Johnson reprising his role as Maui. Look, I love The Rock as much as the next person, but he is 54 years old now. He's playing a demigod who is supposed to have this bouncing, high-energy, chaotic boisterousness. In animation, that's easy. In live action, it feels like he's playing the character on complete autopilot. It feels a bit lazy, like a piece of pre-programmed software doing his classic eyebrow raises and muscle flexes just because he can. The fun chemistry between him and Catherine is definitely there, but it just doesn't hit with the same magical spark as the original. And don't even get me started on his wig. The movie literally has lines celebrating natural, curly Polynesian hair textures, but they tucked the lead actress's gorgeous natural curls away and slapped a noticeably straight-haired wig on the characters. Like, who approved that choice?
We were doing the hair and makeup test for him. The Maui hair was there, and the tattoos were there, and I was just like, when you got it, you got it.
The real fatal flaw of Moana 2026 is not even the acting, but a total lack of creative courage. A great remake is supposed to give a filmmaker the chance to explore beyond the original boundaries. You're supposed to add new angles, flesh out the world, or expand on the themes of duty and wanderlust. But here, it feels like Disney gave the director, Thomas Kail, a strict rule: do not stray away from what is familiar. The movie is so painfully faithful to the original that it feels like a literal photocopy. They copy the exact same storyline and the exact same camera movements shot for shot. It feels more like a high-end tribute act or a dutiful tour guide walking you down a street you've already been down 1,000 times. Because it's so heavily dependent on photorealistic CGI to replicate the cartoon magic, it strips away all that gorgeous, warm, painterly charm the original animation had. It just leaves you with the hollow feeling that you're watching a rerun of a movie you already own on Disney+. The sad part is that this movie is bombing, like actually bombing. It opened to around $40 to $45 million domestically, which doesn't sound terrible until you remember it cost $250 million to make before you even add marketing on top of that. For comparison, the original 2016 Moana opened to about $56 million, so the live-action version with 3 times the budget made less money on opening weekend than the cartoon did a decade ago. And people online are pointing out this might be Disney's worst live-action remake opening ever, worse than Snow White, worse than Dumbo. The theory floating around is that Disney basically oversaturated their own franchise. Moana 2 was still playing in people's heads less than 2 years ago. Audiences just weren't hungry for another trip to the island yet. It's just too much Moana too soon. At the end of the day, is Moana a horrible movie? I don't think so. It's not the worst live-action remake Disney has ever dragged out. If you have kids who just want to see the songs performed by real people, or if you completely missed the 2016 original, you will probably have a perfectly fine, entertaining time. But if you loved the original heart and soul of the animated masterpiece, this one is just going to feel like an uninspired, financially motivated duplicate. Everything this movie does well, the original version did 10 times better a decade ago. With an animated Moana 3 already being worked on right now, it's clear Disney is just trying to keep the brand alive and printing money. My honest advice, save the theater ticket money, stay on your own couch, pop some popcorn, and put on the 2016 animated version instead. You'll get way more of the actual magic. But hey, those are just my thoughts. I want to know what you think. Is this Disney's fault for rushing it out 2 years after Moana 2? Or are we just done with these live-action remakes as a genre? Drop a comment below and let's talk about it. And if this saved you $20 in 2 hours this weekend, that's literally what this channel's for. Subscribe. New breakdowns like this every week.